Hello, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about sage. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about sage because this is what people think spirituality is. Burning sage. And I'm not insulting anyone, I'm not making fun of anyone, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm telling you that spirituality is more than sage. And let's go into the background of it. People get very upset when I say this, and the people who get very upset, too bad. I've noticed every single person who gets pissed at me for saying don't burn sage doesn't do well in life at all. And it's associated with a couple of different reasons. One, because they're too hard-headed to accept new knowledge. Number two, they don't look at anyone else's introspective. Number three, they think they know everything. Number four, the sage brings lots of drama if you don't use it correctly. And most people are not using sage correctly. The thing is, I'm going to tell you something right now. What if you were to ride a bicycle and you're riding a bicycle and someone says, there's a better way to ride the bicycle. Or maybe you shouldn't ride that bicycle, maybe you should ride that bicycle, but you should put something on the bicycle so that it rides better, so it's not dangerous. And like, well, my ancestors rode this bicycle, you can't tell me what to do. Meanwhile, and the thing is, that's people's biggest argument. And a lot of people are not, their ancestors are not even associated with sage. They're just making stuff up. I'm telling you, well, my great-grandmother was witch, and you actually go back in time and look at the great-grandmother, and the great-grandmother, they use sage, but not like that. Okay, so maybe some people did, and the thing is, you have to talk to your ancestors. If you actually see your ancestors in dreams, and they will tell you, for people who have the ancestors of burning sage, you have to burn it correctly. They had certain rituals, and sometimes they get lost with time. Play the game phone call with a friend. You whisper, she sells seashells by the seashore to about 9 people who are alive, and at the end of the line, it gets messed up. It's a whole different message because people have changed it. That's exactly what sage is. People are like, well, my ancestors burned it in a ritualistic fashion and they knew exactly what they're doing. If you're just burning it like... And people burn the whole thing too. They burn it like... And the whole house is just like... But it's just like... No. So... that's the thing. I remember a long time ago I had advice from, and this is when I started really catching on. Someone's like, if you want to have a crazy night when you go out into the city, burn sage. You're gonna bring all these crazy people up to you. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, if you want it to be calm, then burn something like sandalwood. I'm like, was that really a suggestion? So sage makes things crazy, but I'm gonna tell you why. And most of your ancestors, because the biggest argument is, well, my ancestors burned this, I'll do whatever I want. Your ancestors are probably disappointed with you if you talk or think like that. Highly disappointed. It's not elevating them to be stubborn, okay? So most of the time your ancestors won't associate with you if you're that hard-headed. Humans are very proudful. Pride and proudful. Proudfilled? Okay. Prideful. There we go. My angel corrected me. But, proud and hard-headed, just like God said in the Bible. Like, people are very hard-headed and proud. So that's the biggest problem with sage. But there's a lot of people who are open. They're like, okay, wait, sage wasn't the best thing to burn. I'm like, no, there's better things to burn. So I'm gonna talk about this right now. There are way better things you can burn. Sage is very much taught. I mean, if you didn't watch American Horror Story, if you didn't watch things on TV, like psychics burning sage, it looks cool. Sage looks really cool when you burn it, and it's easy to burn. So, and it smells good. It smells delicious. It smells awesome. It's an air purifier, yeah, but so are a couple thousand other herbs. Some herbs do it much better. Some herbs, you just keep them around and they do that. Oh, you didn't know that. Well, a lot of people do. And this video is not condescending. It's very helpful, but I have to be very strict because people are like very stuck on sage. People have been burned. Like, bro, there's a whole bunch of people who probably burned sage before they watch this video. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're one of those people, that's why there's a whole bunch of drama around. That's why. If you burn sage all the time and you're putting up with some drama that you're like, where did this even come from? It's like, why am I dealing with this situation? Versus if you didn't burn sage, you probably, things are a lot more calm. So sage brings drama. Why is that? It's because sage invites absolutely everything. Like, absolutely everything. Sage invites in everything. Everything. So you have to be careful with sage. So it'll attract angels, demons, spirits, fairies. It'll attract a whole bunch of let's just say interdimensional beings that are not any category of what you guys know of. They're not demons, they're not spirits, they're let's just say there's things that are just like they're not regular spirits. Let me say that. I can't even say what they are, but some of them are just like So you can attract in elementals as well. Certain elementals, which I'll talk about elementals in the future. So you can attract things you don't even want in your home. So I'm gonna tell you the right way to burn sage, which is actually it requires work. It's spiritual work, but if you want to take the easy way out, this video is not for you. So you cleanse your whole home. You do a floor wash, a very specific floor wash, from back to front for a certain amount of days, and front to back for a certain amount of days, and then through those days you'll cleanse. You'll make sure everyone in the house does cleansing, spiritual cleansing, like washing themselves with something like they did in the Bible with hyssop, for example. So they use like peppermint or something. So then everyone will cleanse in the home. Everyone will clean their clothes like that was taught in the Bible. So God had his followers washing their clothes and cleansing themselves. So people, the equivalent of burning sage is, it's kind of like, you know, that one person in high school who would never shower, but they just sprayed on some Axe and they went out. That's a spiritual hygiene of using sage. So stop doing that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not being mean. This is being taught very incorrectly. And the second someone says, oh, you shouldn't be burning sage, everyone starts getting mad, yelling and screaming, and like they get like very childlike. It's probably the demons around them that they've conjured up from burning sage. So that just makes sense. So, and like I said, I'm not being mean. If you'd like to use sage correctly, then put in the spiritual work. If you don't, because there's 100,000 things. Sage doesn't invite an abundance like that. Sage, it invites an abundance of things, but not an abundance like that. So unless you mix it with other things, which that's actually how you use sage correctly, you mix it with other herbs anyway. So you might as well, I mean, if you're stuck on the sage, then make sure you use it correctly. So floor wash all week. Then cleanse around the house, cleanse the clothes, clean the house, etc. People are like, it's too much work. I'm just gonna burn it. That, if you're just burning sage, that's the equivalent of like, I'm not gonna shower today, I'm just gonna go to bed and put perfume on. You stink spiritually. You reek spiritually if you just burn sage and you're not doing any other spiritual hygiene. And that's why you attract the things you do. People are like, but my ancestors, your ancestors are probably disappointed in you if you just think that burning sage and not doing any other form of spiritual hygiene is it. So, and yeah, it sounds very harsh, but I'm being very straightforward. So I'm helping you guys. Sage invites in everything. So when you burn sage, I can't even say certain herbs. There are certain herbs that when you burn them, they invite in specifically demons. Like, I'm not going to say which herb, but a very particular herb, which I'm never going to teach about, invites in hordes of demons, like thousands of demons. It's pretty awesome if you like demon catching and demon slaying, but when you do that at the ready. Like, that's why you're not supposed to just burn anything like that, because when you burn something, it's literally sending it to something in the spiritual realm. You're not just burning something and the smoke's just going into the air. It's getting translated. You're giving it to something or someone. So sage, I'd suggest most of you don't use sage. That's the easy suggestion. But if you're gonna use sage, like I said, floor wash, self cleanse, clean your home. Because if you're trying to burn sage and not clean your home, you know what happens when you burn sage and everything's just around. I mean, everything's around. You're literally putting energies in your clothes and everything to make things crazy. It brings drama. It brings in specifically spirit-oriented or lower-level demonic-oriented drama. So, for example, you'll notice more people getting into it with you, more people snapping, more people being irritable, moody, things just popping up like that don't need to pop up. So, rebuke that if you've burned sage. If you're like, oh, how do I undo it? Just rebuke it. Say, Lord Jesus Christ, in Jesus' name, I rebuke anything I called with sage. And then you can burn something like frankincense and myrrh. Then you take a break and you not burn it. How can you sage correctly? You sprinkle it up and you put it under your doorsteps. Cook it and eat with the sage. Eat with the sage. So when you burn something, you have to be very, very careful, because sometimes that's just it's a spiritual agreement when you burn something. Why do you think they burn spiritual contracts when people sell their souls? It's because you spiritually agree to something, but people don't even know that. That's why when you burn a bay leaf, for example, and you can burn bay leaves. I mean, let's go into that. So I'll talk about some other things you can use to burn sage. I'm going to keep it very simple. Bay leaves are awesome. When you write your wishes on bay leaves, it grants the wishes of everyone in the home. It keeps everyone concentrated, focused, and it removes arguments and fights from the home. You should burn, yes, rose petals. You can also burn, you can combine these two. So instead of for sage, if you want to see good luck, rose petals has such a high vibration that everyone in the home is going to calm down. You're going to see peace. People are going to be nice to you. No drama. Let's talk about one of the best things you can ever burn ever. Ever. Yes, ever. So, so cinnamon. Cinnamon's amazing. So anytime you burn something, make sure you're claiming the Lord. Make sure you're claiming God, because when you're just burning something, and you don't have the help of the Lord, something else can be taken and be like, aha. So you could be feeding a charlatan entity or a fake guide, because sometimes the thing is, if you're not openly claiming the Lord, if you're not openly claiming Jesus, then you'll have things around you that are just the opposite of Jesus, because you weren't clear enough about your intentions. So you'll have these demons, or like friendly demons, the world's nicest demons, until they're done with you, which I make videos about, and they'll just be like, oh, cool, and you better believe these lower level demons are like, oh, I love the smell of sage. It's like, oh, it's delicious. When you burn it, it smells good to you. So what do you, I mean, if it's not getting rid of the demons, it's attracting them, okay? So burn frankincense and myrrh. That's the #1 suggestion in this video. So cinnamon's the best you can burn ever for money. So I would suggest you burn frankincense and myrrh. So look at the herbs. I would specifically look at the herbs in the Bible that God told his followers to burn. So some people like, burning herb is demonic. Okay, you never read the Bible. That's not a real Christian. Out. So that's, I mean, because people are like, oh, crystals are demonic. Oh, herbs are demonic. Oh, sacrifices are demonic. You've never read the Bible. You've never read the Bible. Like, I mean, for people who are saying everything is burning that and burning this, everything's demonic, those people have demons. That's why they know what demonic really is. They don't know what demonic is, but they know there's a demon around, so that all they say is demonic, because that's what's around them and in them. So burning sage, it attracts everything. It literally, that's why you'll have unnecessary baggage, drama, etc. It's because it brings in everything. Things will get crazy. You might have nightmares, you might have bad dreams, you might have, like, that's the thing. It'll mess with clairvoyance, it'll mess with clairaudience. You'll hear and see things that are just not true when you burn sage. You won't be on the dot. Burn frankincense and myrrh. Ask the Lord to bless the frankincense and myrrh before you burn it. So before you burn it, pray Psalm 23, Psalm 91:11. Pray before pray when you do these incenses. Be holy about it. So basically, if you're trying to be neutral, there's no such thing as being neutral in the spiritual world. As above, so below. Earth is basically the fine line, but you can't just stay neutral. There's no such thing as a neutral spirit. There's no neutral spirits. If you're a neutral spirit and you can't decide whether you want to do good or bad, there's a high chance they're going to do bad. So, and that's why you don't keep neutral spirits around. So sage invites in nothing but neutral spirits. It's like, well, I don't know if I want to be good today or if I want to be bad today. You have to think about that. What happens if you have a friend around like that? So I'm trying to get as much information as possible in this video, because this video is very important. So I would just say don't burn sage. And what about my ancestors? That's the thing. You got telephoned from 2 ancestors ago because one ancestor mistranslated it, or you didn't learn it correctly, and some people are just dishonest. I'm gonna say this right now. I've done some research on people like, well, my ancestor burned this, and I look at their I look up their ancestors, or I look at the ancestors around them, and their ancestors are doing something else. Let's just say doing something completely different at the time. They weren't burning sage. If anything, sometimes they were burning like rosemary. They were garlic peels. Like, some people don't even know what their own ancestors do, and it's disappointing because they're just making stuff up. A lot of people burning sage, if you see a spiritual info, and this is gonna bum some people out. If you see a spiritual influencer and they're burning sage 24/7, they're doing it for show. They're doing it for show, and it's probably attracting every kind of audience, because sage attracts everything. Good, bad, like, it attracts everything. So be clear about your intentions. I would just stick to frankincense and myrrh and cinnamon. That's it. You can burn other things, but make sure you're burning it in Jesus' name. Because when you burn things and you don't know, because you can't see what that smoke turns into at all. I'm going to give you an example. If you ring a bell and it stops ringing, you can still hear it in your ears because it translates to the other side. That smoke you have, you bought something, or you paid something, or you paid for something, but you don't even know. So, and it can get very ugly. So especially in your home, that's your fortress. That's your sanctuary. You want to play with that? You want to play with your protections? You want to play with... Your house is the body. So keep it clean. So make sure the most important thing ever... Like I said, if you want to use sage correctly, I told you. So floor wash, keep everything clean. Clean the whole house. I would wear white when you do it for purity. You probably don't even need to burn sage. There's a million other things better than sage. It's just so mainstream. It's like, oh, burn sage. Why? Because my ancestors did it. Look at your actual ancestors and look what they did. They probably burned dragon's blood. They probably burned garlic peels. They're probably burning onions. They didn't throw the onion peels out. People buy a stockpile of sage, but they didn't know that their ancestors would save the peels of onions and write wishes on them and burn them, and then that would grant their wishes, and it would bring sweetness and cool things to their home. So literally, the best thing you can ever do to be exact, not just to be like making stuff up, is make sure you ask the Lord, say, Lord, I'd like to burn something that resonates with my ancestors. So some people are so stuck on the ancestral part, and the Lord will show you a vision, or the Lord will allow your ancestors to show you as well a vision of what they would burn. And it might not be what you expect. For example, if you're a female and you're trying to get ahead in life and you want to start that small business, you want to achieve new financial abundance, and you're like, okay, I'm going to burn some sage to clear this energy. You just invited everything in it, and then you slowed yourself down. Versus your ancestors would have said, burn some rosemary, because that's going to put you at number 1. Maybe you have a different ancestor, like, for example, like you're at a, yes, the angels are making me smile, but for example, if you're in work and you want to get elevated or raised and you burn sage, now you're probably getting fired. It's just the honest truth. Versus you burn marigold, now you're people's boss. Like, now you're the boss. So, if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Make sure, most importantly, that you're talking to God about what you burn, because it's going to the other realm. It's going to the other side. It's going to the 5th dimension, and you're paying for something, you're buying something, so don't play around with that, or you'll find out very, very fast. At least people on my YouTube take my advice. People who thought this video was offensive, you're gonna find out, because to know something and then to just basically fight the knowledge is a different kind of karma. So you'll find out if you know this now, then let this knowledge stick with you. You'll remember this. For the people who listen, God bless you, because I'm actually trying to help people. I'm not just saying stuff to say stuff. Effective, ineffective. That's how I view things. And then through the Lord, number 1. Go to floridastoneman.com and purchase a custom gemstone necklace. If you haven't already, it's one of the strongest things you can ever get yourself, and every single person who has gotten a custom necklace from me has seen tremendous miracles in their life through the Lord. Every single person who has gotten a necklace and they've actually tried is seeing tremendous, massive change. It's very dramatic, and you will be a whole new person. You will step into a new version of yourself. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. God bless all of you. Ciao.